It is Thursday, August 15th, 2024. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by 5 Hour Energy. Don't forget to get that 5 Hour Energy question of the week in by tonight so we can use the best one on Friday's show. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Tommy along for the ride as well. Looking forward to seeing you, buddy.
Are we seeing each other?
At some
Just
point.
kidding. We're going to be
It's
hanging out in New York City, walking to work together tomorrow. We need to get like a little lunch bag and maybe a coffee together, and we'll just hang out. I know you don't drink coffee, do you?
I don't. I can't because of the ticker.
That's insane.
I know. Well, I can do the decaf stuff, so I can. I could get something. Michelle knows what I like to order, so I have to ask her what it is. What do you, just black coffee today?
Just black coffee. I don't like anything else in it. I don't know. It doesn't taste right to me.
Okay. I'm a softie. I have to load that thing up with whatever I can into it. It's that simple. All right. I'm not wearing a hat today, but I will give a tip of the cap to Florida Panthers GM Bill Zito, who brought the Stanley Cup into the Brewers clubhouse, which is awesome. So Zito, his connection, the Brewers are his team. He actually worked for them as a teenager in the early 80s, including 1982, when they last made the World Series. He was a clubby kind of bat boy sort of dude. And so dudes got to take a picture with the Stanley Cup. Have you ever been around the Stanley Cup?
I have not been around the Stanley Cup. And I think it's the coolest trophy of them all.
It is.
Isn't it? You know what I mean? So I wish I would have. I would love to like drink some beer out of it, or wine, whatever they want to do.
No.
Why can't I do that?
You can, but that thing has had some nasty stuff in it. Now, I know that they clean it.
Wipe it down a little bit.
Yeah. No. There's been that thing's been everywhere. It has been all around the world. It's been a lot.
We've all put our mouths on some nasty things from time to time, Chris.
Now, let's keep it clean if you don't mind. I did get to see it. I think I've told you this before. I've seen it twice. I saw it out at Angel Stadium with Brady's Little League team. We happened to be there at the same day. So all the kids got to take photos with it, which was cool. But the best was in Chicago after they won it. We were out to dinner. I was out to dinner with Kenny Albert and Eric Karros. We were getting ready to do a Fox baseball game. And we heard that the Stanley Cup might be making an appearance at the restaurant we're in. And all of a sudden, it gets really loud in there. And here comes Joel Quenneville, the coach, bringing in the Stanley Cup.
Awesome. It's one way to get a free meal right there.
Dude, it was incredible. Really, really cool. The only other trophy I would say that's close to it is maybe the World Cup trophy, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Go look at it.
I was just going to say, like, being a trophy designer, what a cool job. I guess you only get to do it once. They don't really change these trophies once they get established, or maybe they have. Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. But
obviously the Stanley Cup's cool because everybody's name who wins it gets put on the trophy.
Every single person?
Yes, every single
ever.
So what they do is they take the layers off. I believe this is what they still do. They take the layers off and then they rebuild it. So once a layer is done, they put it in the Hall of Fame.
It's getting bigger and bigger?
No. They take them and they replace the layers. Or they replace the whole thing and make the new.
So how long do you have? Your name gets etched on 2024. You got like a 50-year period? Is it 20 years?
No. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Because being on the cup is way cooler than like being in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I would say that. Yeah, when you're walking around, you can see somebody's name, and you're like,
dude, Mike Moustakas has the freaking replica World Series trophy in his house, and you just like walk over there and just.
I wonder what he paid for that.
I'm so happy for him because he's my friend, but I'm so mad because they were our division foes.
There's Moose.
I love me some Moose. I do.
What do you think he paid for that?
He doesn't care.
I know.
Loaded.
I do. Pitchers are paying for when they pitch to Aaron Judge, which they did Wednesday night in Chicago. They intentionally walked Juan Soto, which you get. He hit 3 homers on Tuesday. Hit another one in the first inning on Wednesday night. But now Aaron Judge has gone where no player has gone before.
Rio. Hammered in the air. Deep to left field. History. Number 300 for Aaron Judge. The fastest man ever in Major League Baseball to reach the 300 home run plateau.
No, it was great. Just throughout the whole game, guys were having great at-bats, having great rallies there to, kind of pass the baton to the next guy. So in that opportunity.
Good for the Yankees who doused him with Gatorade afterward.
That seems like a dangerous game.
It is.
Dousing your captain. How many times does that happen? That can't happen very often.
Probably every time he gets 300 homers.
Okay.
So like one. But that's nice. You know what? I hope Aaron Judge is enjoying this because he is on a ridiculous run over the last few years. It feels so Jeter-esque from the standpoint of, hey, as long as it comes in a win, like dude, you got there in fewer games than anybody by 132 games faster than Ralph Kiner got to that number. Take a second, enjoy it. I mean, I know that you want to be locked in and all that sort of stuff, but it's okay to pat yourself on the back every once in a while, isn't it?
It is, and I know this doesn't happen with everybody, but in my experience, when you're balling out, that's when it's the easiest to be humble as a hitter because you're like, yeah, we're good. But when you're struggling, that you almost get more cocky when you're struggling because you need that confidence. He's so good that I feel like it's easy for him to be humble because he knows he's got it. It's like that's real confidence, people.
He also did it in 400 fewer at bats than it took Babe Ruth, who got there in the fewest number of bats. But my big question here is Judge officially in Pujols, Miguel Cabrera territory when we're talking about the greatest right-handed hitters of, say, the last 4 decades?
Chris, I had so much fun messing with our producer, Dan Rourke, before the show. And I said, how could you put this guy in that category with Pujols and Miggy when, of course, I believe he's in that category. And he's one of those guys. And if you really look at, I don't know how to do all the stats, put him down to 955 games. I don't know how to do that. So I just went the first 9 years of their career and did those stats, and his stats are better than theirs. I mean, there are some, Pujols has a better slash line than him. He's got higher on base percentage, but if it's not better, it's the same. And we're talking about, like you just mentioned, 2 of the greatest right-hand hitters we've ever seen. Judge is without a doubt, no qualms about it in that category. And by the end of this thing, we could end up saying he's the best of all time because I think this guy's got so much more left in the tank. The thing is, when you look at the other guys, when you look at Pujols, when you look at Cabrera, after their age 32, 33 seasons, they started to really tail off. So their overall numbers, their slash line, no, I think Miguel has a career what is it? 901 OPS. When his first 8 years, it was 990. They start to go down. So Judge has to battle that. He's got to be one of the only guys in baseball history where his numbers continue to go up, and he can't use performance-enhancing drugs to do it. So it's going to be interesting to see how he ages. But when I look at him and the way that he plays, and I just, you're witnessing greatness.
It's weird. He's already 32 years old.
Yes.
And it feels like, because he just really got going in 2017. So it's not that long ago. But he kind of burst onto the scene a little bit later. Miguel Cabrera got up here when he was 20 years old and Pujols when he was 21.
Yes.
And they were great immediately. If I were to rank them just strictly as hitters of the baseball, it goes just out of the gate. You're talking about the first 9 or 10 years. To me, it goes Pujols, Miggy, and then Judge a distant third. This is going to be only the second year where Judge hits over 300. Now, I know that some people don't factor in batting average, but I'm talking about just your ability to work counts, hit bad pitches, find ones in the zone, and do damage with them. I would say that's the way it goes. Pujols, the first 10 years of his career, did not have a batting average under 312. This will just be the second time. This will be the first time for Judge he actually gets over 312 if he's able to hang on, which I think he will be. But in terms of punishing the baseball, this is Bonds-esque what we're seeing right now. I told you this the other day, that it seems like even when he just gets a single, like I can't remember the last time he broke a bat and blooped one over the second baseman's head. That just does not happen with Aaron Judge right now. He is squaring it up. He is barreling it up. And he is doing so much damage. And he was pissed off last night. He said, I understood why they walked Juan Soto, but it got me focused. I was kind of mad.
I mean, I think they were like, they were kind of walking him too, or why didn't they just walk him? Especially when you get behind in the count like that. And it kind of almost seemed like they were intentionally walking him. The pitch that he hit out, Chris, was, I don't know, a foot inside, but that's what happens when you make Aaron Judge mad. He's like, I'm just going to hit anything out. So I don't know, man. I think a lot of people are all over Grady Sizemore about it, and I understand, but truly, it is kind of pick your poison. I guess you just walk the bases loaded. I guess that's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, well, we talked about it on Wednesday's show. Like, true or false that Juan Soto is more dangerous with the game on the line than Aaron Judge? The true answer, yeah.
Can I say something?
Please.
Judge is 32. Mm-hmm. From 32 on, Miguel Cabrera only hit 121 home runs.
Yeah, he was leaking oil at the end, man.
I'm curious now with Pujols how many homers he hit.
From 32 on?
I'm getting it right now. Hold on. I'm so bad at this. I'm going to get better at this, people, I swear. From 32 on, he hit 258.
Yeah, I mean, he finished with, how many did he finish with? 6 what?
He finished with, why can't I find that either?
Well,
686.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
If Judge hits 258 homers from this time, that's 558 homers.
What do you, give me a number. We'll have fun. Hopefully we're still doing this show. We'll look back when his career's over.
I mean, he's not going to hit, he can't break the record. It's just too many freaking
No.
400, what is it, 463 homers away?
He's not getting there.
I would love to see him approach 600. How about that? Mm-hmm. I'll give him a goal. Try to get to 600.
Yeah, let's set the over-under at 596 and a half.
I'm going to say yes. How many more years does he have in his contract?
He signed a 9-year deal, so he's got 7 more years after this one.
I mean, he's got to play more than that. He can't get to 607 more years.
Well, he could have a couple of 50 homer seasons to balance out some 35 homer seasons.
If we're doing 7 years, I'll take the under, but yeah, I wouldn't put anything past this guy.
Yeah, I'll say he gets to 613.
He's going to go pat. He can't in 7 years?
No.
Oh yeah, play more. Okay.
613. Let's go get him, Aaron. Braves are going for the 4-game sweep of the San Francisco Giants on Thursday. Atlanta got an early power surge on Wednesday from a returning force.
This ball is hit deep to right. Are you kidding me? Welcome back, Michael Harris. A grand slam into McCovey Cove.
Yeah, first game in 2 months, and he ends up doing that. Did you see Robbie Ray's stat line in the first inning? He goes, this is ridiculous. Hit by pitch, strikeout, walk, grand slam.
And this is all, the Giants had all the momentum in the world. Everyone was just like, why aren't you guys talking about the Giants? We're back, best pitching staff in baseball. And then they're about to get swept.
Well, Logan Webb's going to have something to say about that.
At a very crucial time of the year. I agree. I love Logan Webb. And they do have a great team and a great pitching staff, but is it a little bit too late for them?
Hey, listen, they have been so up and down. Even when they're riding a wave, it feels like, they cannot put together. They won 12 of 16, I think, coming into this series. And now at best, they win 1 out of 4. They just can't keep it going. And the way that the Diamondbacks and the Padres have just lapped everybody. The Diamondbacks, Padres, and Dodgers have the 3 best records in the National League, if not baseball, I believe, since the second half started. And the Giants are just like doggy paddling out there in the Bay. But our question is about the Atlanta Braves, who have been inconsistent all year, and particularly since Acuna went down and not having Spencer Strider in the whole bit. But how scared should other teams be of this version of the Braves?
If they make the playoffs, I think they are a very scary team for a bunch of different reasons, Chris. Number one, this team has the experience in the playoffs, and I think that counts for something. Like, you have to go into those games understanding what that pressure means, understanding how to play those games, and I think that this particular team can do that. Number two, if these guys start to hit and Michael Harris becomes a real threat in the lineup, which he really hasn't been all year, you can go down the line and say this has the potential to be a deep lineup. Okay. If Matt Olson does his thing, you can name 6 guys, which is kind of what we name with the Dodgers. They're not on the same level as the Dodgers as far as year in, year out, like an all-star type players, but you can name like 6 guys in this lineup that can really bang the ball around. I think the pitching staff is underrated, even with Spencer Strider out. You got some starters back there that are doing some really great things. The bullpen's been electric. So if you can get into the playoffs, pare the rotation down, and you can go Sale, you can go, hopefully Ronaldo Lopez is back. And then you can go Max Fried, and like you can pare it down and create really a great top end of this rotation. Yeah, I mean, this is not too far off from like what we talked about with the Astros. The Astros have been playing better ball during the regular season, but it's of the same ilk where they have the experience, and a bunch of these guys, like if they continue to go, like it's the same scenario for me. So if you play the Braves in the postseason, yeah, I think you're playing a very formidable foe.
I would say you're respectful of them. I'm not so sure you're fearful of them. They just haven't clicked enough. Now,
you're not afraid of facing Chris Sale and Max Fried and Ronaldo Lopez, and then that bullpen, and then a freaking couple guys on their team can get really hot, like we know they can. I think you are.
They can, but that lineup, we keep saying they can, but they haven't. Those are the facts, is that they haven't. Now, the guy that we just showed in that highlight, Michael Harris, is a big part of that because his OPS is about 150 points shy of where it was last year. And so if he returns, and Sean Murphy went deep, I mean, he's been an invisible man this season. Obviously, it started out crappy, getting injured right away and not having really returned to peak levels. The bottom 4 of that lineup just hasn't been good. Now Soler had a couple of games since he's come over and in that trade. They already got
he's had incredible since he's come over.
No, he had like a 3 to 4 game stretch where he was awesome, and then the rest he's kind of sprinkled in some stuff. So it was one little pocket of peak. And then that's fine. I mean, that's kind of who he is. He goes on.
That's the season. Chris. Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how numbers are.
I know, but he's not a consistent performer, and they haven't had consistent performers this year.
You're right. But it all comes down to, I think, those lights switch on in the playoffs. Your numbers go back to 0. It makes a huge difference in your psyche. So now you're talking, let's just name them. Matt Olson. We're talking Ozuna, who's been great all year long. We're talking Soler, who's had plenty of postseason success. We're talking Austin Riley, who's done it all, for how many years in a row. Michael Harris, if he can be a guy, I mean, you can go down and down and down this lineup. It has the potential to be very long, Chris. I'm telling you, I just think it's different.
It is different.
Once you change it over, and nobody's looking at those numbers on the Jumbotron.
You know who else has had
winning?
Yes. You know who else has had postseason success? The Philadelphia Phillies lineup. You know who had more recent success than the Atlanta Braves in the postseason? The Arizona Diamondbacks lineup. Sure. You know who's had more recent success in the playoffs? The San Diego Padres lineup. Some of those guys. Like, we could say the same. Yes, we could say the same thing about all those teams.
Padres didn't even make the playoffs last year.
2 years ago, where'd they make it?
Well, what are we talking about then?
The NLCS.
Come on, man.
Hey, the Braves.
If you play the Braves, it's not like you're like, oh, fuck yeah, we get to play the Braves. I promise you that.
It's not that. But all I'm saying is that I don't think they're any more scary than any other team that's going to be out there.
Okay.
I really don't think that. Because I don't think that they're going to come back and win the division, which means that they're going to have to burn Sale and Fried in that first round, which means that their pitching's going to be off. And so somebody's going to start game 4 that they might not. Well, Ronaldo Lopez, as long as he's okay. Then you start Charlie Morton the next round, which should be fine. We'll see. Hey, listen, I picked the Braves to win the World Series earlier this year, so they come back and do it.
Well, don't walk it back now. Be confident in your pick.
I'm not
It's a
walking it
very
back,
good team
but things
look, we
change.
just talked about the Phillies sleepwalking through the season. You don't think Atlanta's tired of the regular season either?
Yeah, but they've been
You can
tired
say
for
the
3
exact
months.
same thing.
They've been tired. This isn't a bad couple
What'd you
weeks.
call it?
I don't give a shit.
Sportitis?
Yeah, I don't give a shititis. All right, you know what you need more of? To get off your ass. And with bold flavors and refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew will help you get off your ass and have you feeling like you're on an actual mountain, a mountain where the weather is always perfect. Your friends are ready to hang, and a day of epic proportions awaits. It's kind of like Trevor Plouffe's life on a daily basis, right? Life should be all about fun and competitiveness and social activities. So whether you're, I don't know, flying to Cabo or going to the mountains or fishing or playing a little pickup football or tossing the frisbee or, doing something on the golf course or playing video games. You could be doing that. You could playing pickleball. It doesn't matter. Go have fun. Go have energy. Go feel refreshed. The mountain is calling. You should answer. Go grab your friends. Grab an ice cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold. We want you to do the do. Report back to us. Let us know how your life is going, because thanks to Mountain Dew, it's going to be better. Devin Williams, he sliced right through the top of the Dodgers order. He retired Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie Freeman in a one-run game. Did it on 7 pitches. Milwaukee wins. Now has the largest division lead in all of baseball. It's 8.5 games over the Reds and Cardinals. On August 15th, are you willing to proclaim the National League Central over?
Yeah, you could ask me this question in July, and I just don't think there's any team that has been able to put together any sort of consistent run to go and challenge the Milwaukee Brewers. And if you could name me one, I'd love to hear it. I know the Reds are kind of hot, and I believe they just swept they swept the Cubs. Is that who they swept?
The Reds just took care of the Cardinals, didn't they?
Cardinals, that's who it was. Sorry. But no, this race is over. And I know we always talk about Milwaukee and the deficiencies and what are they doing? How are they winning all these games? But really, like, the deficiency that most people talk about is their starting pitching. But I think they kind of have enough, Chris. They found some guys. They're not household names. I mean, Peralta's had an up and down year, but guys like Colin Ray and Tobias Myers have been excellent. And you can toss in, Frankie Montas in there. We'll see what we can get out of him. Like, they have enough. They've done the opener thing. Like, they have a formula that works clearly. And there's no other team in the Central that's going to come close to them. I'd be surprised if it gets even 5 games out. A team gets 5 games out of them. They know how to win baseball games. They can do it in a bunch of different ways. I'm all about this Brewers team. Every single time that you want to count them out, somebody gets hurt, they trade somebody. They've constructed a roster that wins baseball games.
So they're up 8.5 with 42 left. They play 4 more games against Cincinnati and 6 more against the Cards. However, they are 6-3 against the Reds and 6-1 against St. Louis. So in order to win the season series, they just have to win 1 more against those teams. And then it becomes an even larger lead because you have the tiebreakers over the next 2 closest competitors. The Pirates are done and the Cubs aren't getting them either. So yes, on August 15th, I will declare it over. So you're welcome to the rest of the National League Central, because I imagine I just put the old whammy on them. You can check the Mets back on May 29th for my history when it comes to proclaiming teams either victorious or dead. So here's the thing about the Brewers. Take last night's game for an example. They scored 5 runs. Do you know how many hits they got? 4. They got 4 freaking hits, and somehow they're still doing this without Christian Yelich. They've done a remarkable job. Jackson Chourio has quietly put together an amazing season. We've been talking a little bit more about the other Jacksons and Holiday, and he's had a little power surge. And Merrill out in San Diego has been utterly out of this world. But Jackson Chourio, we forgot, signed the deal before he became a major leaguer. 20 years old, making his debut. I remember Pat Murphy told me on the Rose rotation in spring training, we were like looking at each other like, can this kid really play? And the first 2 months he couldn't. His OPS in both April and May was sub 600. It was not good. each of the last 3 months, his batting average is going to be, as long as he continues it here in August, over 300, and his OPS over 800. He is learning on the fly, and he is starting to become a star in front of our eyes. I really believe that that's going to happen. So, yes, this division is over. We'll see in the playoffs. They're going to have a chance to have a bye on top of it once they get to games that really count. I don't know if that pitching can hold up, particularly if they have to work the wild card series as well, but I'm anxious to find out.
Chris, the last time that they were not solely in the lead of the division was May 8th, and the 8.5 game lead is the highest that they've had all season long. Nobody's catching these guys.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And good for the Brewers. Enjoy that. Plus, you have the Stanley Cup visiting your clubhouse. Life is good. Now we just need Christian Yelich to get back and feel better. Have you reached out to him?
I have not. I think initially I did and just, sent him some good vibes
wishes.
or whatever. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. I hope things are going well.
Yeah. He'll be okay.
Okay. Some interesting stuff happening on the bases last night, and it all transpired around second base. We'll start in Milwaukee, where Dave Roberts came out for an apparent mound visit, and he starts pointing at second base. We're like, what's going on here? Well, he was like, I think the base runner, Joey Ortiz, missed second, so they appealed, and sure enough, he did. And Ortiz is sitting there like, what? Well, as you can see, he taps the bag. He takes a step back toward first, and then never retouches second. So it was a good call and a great appeal by the Dodgers. But was that more interesting than what happened on the south side of Chicago, which was fly ball to right center field, an amazing catch by the White Sox out there. Oswaldo Cabrera is on second base. He tags up, and he is sprinting the whole way and never stopped. He makes it a two-base sacrifice fly. So which of those two plays was more interesting to you?
I think the scoring from second base is more interesting to me. I do want to talk about the appeal process to get somebody out at second base or a base when they've missed it is ridiculous. You should just be able to say, I appeal. Why do we have to get on the mound, step off, and throw the ball? That's it's ridiculous that we have to do that. But I will say this. The tagging up from second base is awesome. We see it from time to time throughout the years, guys in situations like this doing it. But for White Sox fans, isn't this just the epitome of their season? Make a great play and you're so stoked, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh wait, now the game is tied. Great play, but something great happened for the other team. This is how their season has gone all year long. So I feel for White Sox fans right now, because that was an amazing athletic effort out there in right field. And Robert did the right thing by getting down, make the catch. Then you tie the game, obviously end up losing the game. White Sox, man, I'm sorry.
The mound visit was fascinating to me because at first I saw the clip on social media and I didn't read the caption. So I just wanted to see the video to see what happened. I think it's really strange that the manager can come out on the field of play and then you can continue the appeals process. I always felt like usually somebody from the dugout will yell, hey, step off, or step on the rubber, and then you step off, and then you throw to the base. To me, it feels like the completion of the play when the manager comes out on the field and is talking to the team. Shouldn't that end the play?
Again, that's just part of what I think is ridiculous, Chris. Why do completion of the play? This is a clockless. It used to be a clockless game. It still is, for all intent and purposes, a clockless game. I understand the pitch clock is there, but we should just be able to say, hey, he missed second base. What do you think? And I'm probably yeah, he missed second base. He missed second base. He's out.
Yeah, it's very strange. It did take me back watching Joey Ortiz to 2 decades ago when Ruben Rivera of the San Francisco Giants made a shit show of a ball that got past. I don't. Yeah, I mean, he's going around second base, retouching it, not touching it, heading to third, having the ball get away, trying to go home, falling down, it was just ridiculous.
This is like if Jolly Olive was a Major League Baseball player running the bases. That's what it would look like right there, Chris. Unbelievable.
It was fun to watch. Great heads-up play by Cabrera. How many guys just kind of loaf it to third? He was busting ass right off of second base.
I think that you see the guy catch the ball, but then you're off to the races. I think he just picked up the third base coach and immediately he's waving.
Great job.
Yeah, it's great
Heads
job by
up.
both of them. I do want to say this. How crappy does it feel to say, like, we're not a clockless game anymore? That was it for us forever. Now I like caught myself right there, and I'm like, I guess I can't say that anymore.
I know, but don't you like the tempo of the game better?
I do like the tempo of the game, and maybe we still can consider us. It's still, you can't run the clock out, or I guess no, you can't.
Can't.
Not to your advantage.
No.
If you run the clock out, it's to their advantage.
Dude, I grew up in an era in college basketball where there was no shot clock early on. And have you ever heard of the four corners offense? Dean Smith of North Carolina, the Hall of Fame coach, is the guy who perfected it. They would hold the ball and just pass it around the perimeter. Like there were games that were like 31-22. Like who in the world thought that was a great idea? Like, man, this is awesome. Did you see them? They would take the air out of the ball for 4 minutes. Literally a possession would take 4 minutes and you would just pass it around. That's a great way to get fans.
Coaches do not care about fans and what they want to see. All they care about is winning.
I would love to know who is it that came into the meeting in college hoops and was like, guys, this sucks. We got to put a shot clock.
Yeah, that's a good point. What if Grady Sizemore? This is what he should have done. They've come out and said he's not up for a managerial job next year, right? They've already said that. Right. He's the interim.
Yeah.
What if he was like, fuck it, I'm not walking Judge or Soto. I want to see these dudes hit. That's what the fans came to see. I think people would love that.
Yeah,
I don't care about wins and losses. And doesn't the pitcher want to face the best hitters? Grady, if you're listening to this, no more intentional walks. Go out there, get the fans who they want to see. Who cares about wins and losses? Like, he should approach this thing completely different.
Okay. Interesting. All right, I want to talk to you about this. Dudes, we're all in the same boat on this. The pains of finding what to wear. You've got some stuff that's uncomfortable, other stuff that's tight. It's never your size. It's difficult putting pieces together. You know, men's closets, go look at yours. They're due for radical reinvention, and Rhone has stepped up to the challenge. Rhone's commuter collection, it is the most comfortable, breathable, truly versatile set of products known to man, and here's why. They have products for every occasion. We're talking about the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos, blazers, you name it, they got it. And they look great as individual pieces, and they work seamlessly together. So basically, they put the outfits together for you. So when you open that closet, you're not like, what the heck do I do now? Rhone's signature four-way stretchy fabric, it is breathable, flexible, works everywhere from your commute to work all the way to the 19th hole. It's time for unparalleled confidence without the hassle. Rhone's commuter collection, it features wrinkle-free technology. It's 100% machine washable. Looking good has never been easier. And it's treated with Gold Fusion anti-odor technology. For more wears between washes, you'll be free and clean all day long. And that is so important. Guess what? On my next trip, I'm throwing into my bag. That's right. Rhone just makes me feel better. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes after that. So head on over to Rhone.com/today. Use that promo code today. You're going to save 20% off that entire order. That is 20% off your entire order when you head to Rhone, RHONE.com/today. Use that code. It's time to find your corner office comfort today. All right. MLB put out a cool little series. Kudos to them. Greg Maddux, Barry Bonds, sitting down, each with an iPad, talking about their 154 battles. Here's a little snippet of when Bonds took Mad Dog deep.
And Greg knows, because I always have this saying, you cannot come in the penthouse without an invite.
I mean, that's a good pitch, believe it or not. It's an executed pitch, but obviously it's a wrong pitch to throw. That's one you got to put in the memory bank and try not to ever throw it right there again to him.
It's probably the most cerebral pitcher and hitter of our generation, sitting down and looking at the same at bat and hearing what each of them are thinking about. Sounds familiar.
It was awesome. No, I loved it. There's actually more to the clip, and you can go watch it all. There's one point where Bond says, okay, he got me, jammed me with a cutter in. Now he thinks he's sped me up, so he's going to go a change up away. They cut to the next scene. Greg Maddux goes, I got him with the cutter in. I sped him up, so now I'm going to go change up away. And Bonds completely just spits on the pitch. And that is hitting right there. The ability to think along with the catcher and the pitcher, pick pick the times to go be aggressive on pitches. It's awesome, dude. So I love that. It's why Dan and I created Sequence and brought the guys in to talk about hitting and talk about their thought process and all that. And yes, we want to continue to do it, but we need to talk and get a little bit more friendly with Major League Baseball to do it. So maybe that'll happen.
Hope it does. Certainly hope it does. It's cool stuff. Maddux, there's a very famous story about him in spring training telling a teammate that he was going to give up a home run to a guy. He's like, watch this. He's going to hit a home run off me. And sure enough, he hit a home run. The guy's like, what are you doing? He said, I'm doing that so I can get him out at some point in the season. Like, that is next level shit right there.
I love that. I mean, that's real, man. That's you would hear guys talk, like hitters talk about, taking a dummy swing just to get that pitch again. Miguel Cabrera told me he would do that. Really flail at a slider early in the count or something like that to get it again, where he could sit on it.
Manny Ramirez was famous for that.
Yeah.
Same sort of deal. Incredible. Don't forget to get your 5-hour energy question of the weekend by tonight so we can use the best one on Friday. Let's go. Challenge us. Make us laugh. Whatever you want to do. We will be together for Friday's show in studio. We cannot wait. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Tommy Young, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Friday here on Baseball Today, presented to you by 5-Hour Energy.